First story. The Electoral Commission has clarified the shortages of ballot papers for the upcoming 2024 general elections are not limited to the voter and Ballot regions. That's according to the Commission. According to them, they cannot be solely blamed for the shortfalls, as political party agents and printing houses have been also mandated to ensure the right figures for ballots are printed. Speaking during an emergency IPAC meeting today, Deputy Chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Dr. Bosman Asari, noted that other regions are also facing similar issues.
For their accuracy and to guarantee that they tally with the ballot statistics provided to the printers and political parties. This is a standard procedure of the Commission. It is important to know that this additional verification unearths any issues with the ballots and enable corrections to be made ahead of the elections. As stated, this is a standard procedure and it is to ensure that all ballot papers are accurate and intact on the election day. This is a further layer of accountability that the Commission employs in the printing and distribution of ballot papers. The essence, as noted, is to ensure full accountability of the ballots and to make sure that the ballots sent to the regions are accurate. It is important to note that in the spirit of transparency, the Commission notified the political parties and presidential candidates to enable them inform their agents to observe the reprinting of the ballot as well as the destruction of the faulty ballot papers. The question is, who discovered it and who is requesting for a reprint? The Commission has nothing to hide. Why would the Commission inform political parties in writing if it has something to hide? It is the Commission staff at the regional level that discovered and reported back to the Commission. It is the Commission that ordered the reprinting and informed the political parties and the presidential candidates. The Commission has nothing to hide. This is the procedure in place, and it is the Commission which is requesting a reprint of the shortfall in the presence of the agents, not any political party. For the benefit of the general public, similar shortfalls and discrepancies were discovered and reported back to the head office by our regional directors. The shortfalls occurred in Greater Accra, Western North, Upper West, Western and Bono East regions. So the Volta region and the Bono region are not the exceptions. The political parties were also informed in writing and the reprinting was done. While the noise about the shortfalls for only the Volta region, if the Commission have anything to hide, it will not transparently call for a reprint of ballots to make up for the shortfalls. The Commission urges the general public and especially political parties to disregard acts of mischief by persons whose only objective is to malign the Commission and sow seeds of mistrust and doubts.
So that's the Deputy Chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Dr. Bosman Asari. However, the Director of Elections for the National Democratic Congress, NDC, Dr. Edward Omaniboma, urged the Electoral Commission to disclose the exact reasons for the shortfalls in ballot papers meant for the voter region.
Or a decision not to align figure. The fundamental question I have asked about the discrepancy between the figures that left the printing house to the voter region is the ballot statistics at the printing house. Do those figures align with the figures in the voter region for those constituencies? The press conference has not addressed that. You only assemble words without addressing the cause. So inform the general public. Ghanaians whose monies are being wasted. The ballots go, they come, we waste our time to shred them, we call people to come to the printing houses again. Mr. Bosman, the people we call, they have other things to do. So let's be efficient, and we can be. So what is the cause? How come we have ballot statistics in the printing houses, but they experience this kind of shortfall? That is a major issue. My next one has to do with the collation. Clarification. Do you mean that for the constituency collation center, we are going to have one person representing the presidential and another person representing the parliamentary. So that is just 2. Not 2 for presidential candidates, 2 for parliamentary. Is that what you mean?
I thought you were asking a question.
Yes.
So finish your question.
Okay, because that will be inadequate if it is just 1 person for parliamentary and just 1 person for the presidential.
You heard the Director of Elections for the National Democratic Congress, Dr. Edward Omane Boama. Let me go on the line and speak to my colleague Zita Okwan, who is currently still at the office of the Electoral Commission. Zita, good to have you again on 505. So you have been there. After the IPAC meeting, we understand that the Electoral Commission also had a separate engagement. Tell us, what exactly was that for? Well, sorry, we've lost my colleague Zita Okwan on the line. We'll try to connect with her again, because she made us understand that after the emergency IPAC meeting in the afternoon, the Electoral Commission, after the political parties had left, also had a similar engagement. You want to find out what really the purpose of that engagement. Zita, good to have you on 505. After the political parties had left the IPAC meeting this afternoon, we understand the Electoral Commission had a separate engagement. What was that for?
Well, we are yet to have the details of the second engagement. It was scheduled to start at 4 p.m. That hasn't started. It's 5 now, and the Electoral Commission has not told us anything yet. But earlier, the first engagement that was had, we had the Electoral Commission clarifying the details of the shortfall of the ballot paper in the Volta region and then the Bono region as well. The deputy chairperson or the deputy chair of the Electoral Commission made us understand that it's not just these regions, but also the Volta region was involved. And then the NDC had an issue where they were asking for clarity. They actually demanded a lot of things. They were asking how prepared the EC was ahead of the special voting and also the December 7th elections. They asked that whether the EC has made available Excel sheets that they would need to collate all these results from the various constituencies and regions. But the Electoral Commission made them understand that they are yet to train other officials who will be using this exact SL, but they said that it's not going to be exactly the SL that they are going to use. Also, the Director of Elections, Dr. Manibwama, called for the EC to halt its activities and reflect on these recent actions. So they were asking the Electoral Commission to rather make sure that all these demands or all these actions or things happen. They should see to it that it is clarified. They are saying that they describe the EC as ill-prepared for a critical task because they feel that with all these that are happening, the EC is not really prepared for the elections. Just as we have the special voting on Monday, they raised concerns about the EC making necessary data and network available. For instance, having just a light that will generators that are being available and all of that. So Dr. Manibwama has actually been speaking a lot. They also spoke about the issue of polling officials. So the Electoral Commission made mention that there's going to be officials or polling officers at the various stations. So for the presidential and parliamentary, we're going to have two persons or two observers to come from the various political parties. And then the NDC actually raised a concern about who these people are going to come from, because they made mention that the EC is saying something else that is not in law.
Some other issues which I wish to raise, which are also related to this. The border on collation. Who is sending the pink sheets to the collation center? I presume is the presiding officer. Will the presiding officer, in transmitting the pink sheets to the collation center, be accompanied by the polling agents of the parties. We are not saying the polling agents of the party should go and occupy the collation center, no. But we are saying that in the interest of transparency, the byproduct of whatever happened at the polling station from 7 a.m. up to 5 p.m. and subsequently counting and everything, will the presiding officer be accompanied by agents who will wish that they follow, so that there are no swaps on the way, there are no swapping of either ballot boxes or pink sheets. What arrangements have you put in place to ensure that the police doesn't obstruct such agents who will just be working in the name of transparency? That is one. Two, the presiding officers, and it's interesting that you jump to collation, because before collation are things that will happen at the polling station. I don't know whether you will discuss things that will happen at the polling station after we are done with the collation, or I can just go ahead and go into the.
So that's the Director of Elections for the NDC, Dr. Edward Amani-Boamah. Zita, we also understand that the Director of Policy for Movements for Change, Nana Yasapon, also expressed some disappointment and concerns. What exactly was he talking about?
Yeah, Kyoji, he was actually siding with the NDC because they feel that the concerns that they raised were not addressed by the Electoral Commission, because they kept asking about these identified persons to be at the collation centers. That's the 884 persons that were being identified and were not under the register that was submitted to the various political parties. So they were actually asking the Electoral Commission to make it known to them who these persons are, if indeed you have these numbers. Why are you not making it available to tell the political parties exactly who they are? So they were actually disappointed that every question that he put to the Electoral Commission, he felt that it was very necessary for the public to be of the known. But the Electoral Commission, some way, somehow, found a way to move away from the questions he was asking. So he actually wasn't happy and felt like the Electoral Commission wasn't being transparent.
Some of these things we try as much as possible to raise them, and they have found a very cunning way to always avoid these questions, and these are very critical issues. You understand? Yesterday you called specifically. Now, if you look at the results summary that they sent to us, there's an item 9. They identified some persons, 884 of them, that can actually have an impact on any results. Now, we are saying that you say you have their records. These persons do not belong to a particular polling station. Give us the definition. Where would they be voting? How would these persons vote? If I am part of that list, let me know, so that we do not have so many of these persons coming to tell us that they are part of the 884. So give us the list. Let us know. The other issues I raised. Now, there is a clear definition on who a coalition, regional coalition officer is. It didn't say that it is the regional director or the deputy. It says the commission may appoint the director or the deputy or any other person as such. So, if the regulation says that the EC may appoint or the commission may appoint, please tell us the criteria, tell us the persons you are appointing. And it goes further to talk about in consultation with political parties and by extension independent presidential candidates. So how are we doing it? And that was what Amani-Boamah raised. And we are all just saying that, tell us how. Because I didn't say it. Bossman said that they have appointed.
So that's the Director of Policy for the Movement for Change, Nana Yasapon. Let me go on the line and speak to the Executive Director of Care for Free and Fair Elections, David Kumiado. David, good evening to you, and thank you so much for your time on 505.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Lots of issues were raised, or lots of concerns were raised during the IPAC meeting. Key among them is what Dr. Edward Amani-Boamah raised, that the Electoral Commission need to disclose exactly the reasons for the shortfalls in ballot papers meant for the voter region, which happens to be the stronghold of the NDC. Was this something too much to ask from the EC?
Thank you very much. Good evening to yourself again and then your cherished listeners. Before this week, I thought that the Electoral Commission has come to understand the importance of being transparent and being accountable. Because after a while, forth and back, there were a lot of things that the Electoral Commission started doing. Then they started opening up and engaging political parties and then civil society organizations and other people relevant to what we are doing, the elections, I mean. But for this week, the Electoral Commission has gone back to its old days when the issues of transparency were thrown to the dogs. The old days where the Electoral Commission did not respect the people whose money, whose taxes ran the commission and paid them. Because when I was listening to what went on iPad this morning, I was like, what is happening? Why is the Electoral Commission go back to the things we've spoken about, we've criticized, we've demonstrated, we've agitated, we've done a lot of things to bring us here? If you are going to appoint somebody to do some work, you see, even before that, when the Electoral Commission started giving quotas to MPs, to DCEs, to MCEs, to party chairmen, to bring people to man their polling centers and all that, we spoke about it. You realize that recently, one of the MPs had come out to tell us that a lot of the guys that have been brought to their area, that's their constituency, are NPP party executives.
That's in the Dwaboso constituency.
Dwaboso. How can we trust that you really want to be fair in the things you are doing? We say that you have said, the Electoral Commission, that the Electoral Commission cannot rig an election, but the Electoral Commission can create an avenue for people to rig elections, and that is what basically you are doing. Your people are going to work for us. The Electoral Commission, you are working in the interest of the people of this country, working for us. Let us know the criteria for selecting those people. Let us know where those people are going to come from. Let us know what exactly they are going to do. Is this too much to ask? Do we have to go back to the era that there is so much aggression, there's misunderstanding and suspicion and all those, where we are just a week to the elections? I don't get it. I don't get it. Because all of us are trying to safeguard the peace and security of this country. And the Electoral Commission, you must be fair. You must be transparent. It is non-negotiable. You see, you must allow public participation. You must allow inclusivity. All this makes or strengthens our democracy. If we stand and say, oh, Ghana will not bend, Ghana will not bend, Ghana will leave, and nothing will happen, it is not just by mere words. Actions are part of what will give us confidence that we are going into these elections and nothing will happen. But if every day there are complaints and you throw caution to the dogs, with recourse to nothing, you are doing what you want and all those things, as if your independence give you a carte blanche for you to do what you want to do. It is not so. And I am going to urge all Ghanaians, my brother, this is not inciting anybody. This is not calling for whatever. We must not allow the Electoral Commission to determine for us who to become our president. We must not. The 1992 Constitution, Article 42, gives us that is constitutional right to determine who becomes our leader in the country. And we must ensure that we do that. Let's be observant. Let's participate. Participation here means that whatever we must do to stop the Electoral Commission from doing things that is unpopular, for doing things that will jeopardize our peace, we must all come together as a unified body, as Ghanaians, and fight against that to ensure that we compel the Electoral Commission to do what will safeguard the peace and the democracy bequeathed to us.
But David, that's the reason why the political parties are raising concerns and questions. But it looks like the Electoral Commission is is clearly not willing to give these answers to the questions being asked by the political parties.
Yes, you see, we must bring pressure to bear. Because if it requires that we go on a demonstration, we must go again. We must not renege. We must go again because